Welcome back to Talking Footy. The Carlton coach, Mick Malthouse, joins us live in the studio. 30 years ago to the day, Mick, you coached your first ever game of AFL football. Did you know that?
Someone told me today to be ready for it, and I said, what do I have to be ready for? So I needed to be ready 30 years ago.
You won by 39 points. Simon Beasley kicked 11 goals and you beat the Tigers 30 years ago today.
11 goals,
kicked 11, yeah.
I was just watching that tape there, I've probably wrecked someone's career there because everyone's probably under the illusion that Timmy only played for Essendon, but we had him on our list at West Coast and just destroyed that whole myth of that.
True story. Okay.
True story.
I want to ask you quickly about Matthew Kreuzer. Trained today. Is he going to be okay? Is there more to read into his foot injury?
He trained today. He trained on 2 days ago, whatever day that was. I get mixed up with days. We play every day of the week these days. And he will train Thursday. Now, if he trains Thursday and does all the things we want him to do, then he will come under massive selection. He'll put us in a position to select or not select him. Not on basis if he gets through. So it'll be more on his form.
Mick, on Matty Kreuzer, is he a guy, you would have had an opinion of him before you came to the club, is he a guy that has surprised you, or you think he's still got a fair way to go?
It's a really good question. I was always told that he's a very quiet young bloke, and he's that. He is a fierce competitor, he's that. I think in today's football, he's a small ruckman. Mm-hmm. Because you just look around today, they're just big boys. They're 205, 206, 207. He'd be 200. What I've said to Matthew is this, that he's got to learn to play as a forward and ruck. And he's really trying to eat into that. He's really... he's setting himself... He knows he may well be still the first ruck, but I don't think Robbie Warnock's a great forward pocket. So Robbie Warnock rucks, and it gives the capacity for Matthew to work the forward line, because I think there is a real role for him to play down there. He's a big, strong, he takes a good mark, massive competitor, kicks pretty well, but probably hasn't played there enough to say that I've learnt the art of playing forward. As you know, and you're rucked and forward, it's a totally different role than playing as a junior behind the ball, taking a few catches, looking really good. Now you've got someone on you who all he wants to do is to spoil you. So it's a great opportunity for him.
Hey Mick, where's your team at the moment? Is it too early in the season for you to gauge whether or not you're a top 8 side or you're not a top 8 side? Where do you think you're at?
That's another very good question, Timmy. I'm not a soothsayer, so it's going to be hard to say where we're going to finish up.
Yeah.
But look, I get a bit concerned that people say, the club's been in the finals 4 of the last 5 or 6 years. And we all know on this table, you've got to finish top 4. It's a massive task to win a grand final from anything but the top 4. I only coach for one reason, or several reasons, but one in particular, is to see that side come through and play finals football. It doesn't mean finishing 5th to 8th, right? So our goal has got to be the top 4. If you look at the ladder after 2 rounds, there's a few give-me's that are going to make the 8. The way they play, the personnel they've got, there is going to be a couple of those sides, few of those sides, perhaps still under pressure to hold it in the 8. We are out of the 8. So for us to make it, it diminishes every time you look at you go, okay, it's 12 to make the 8. Yeah. So we're now got to win 12 out of 20.
Yeah.
Not 12 out of 22, 12 out of 20.
So where you're at right now, say your team, have you got a feeling that you've got to go back to go forward again?
No, I don't. I don't. I've never believed that in any football thing. I don't coach for 5 years, I coach for 5 minutes. You've just got to keep going every 5 minutes, then reassess and keep going. Our football side this year has been massively competitive. I knew the first game that we probably need to be a few in front at the 3/4 time. And we got great time into them. And it proved it over the weekend that the boys were another step closer to being a better side. We started very well against Port. We didn't start very well against Richmond. We gave a lead up and we got belted in the last quarter. So against Port. So somewhere along the line, we will get it together, and I know we will. I've got great confidence in this group that they will be highly competitive. We changed it 25% this year. I know the boys won't mind me saying this if any of them watch it. It's got to change. It's simply the bottom denominator has to move up. So the only way to do that in today's football is that you have the capacity and have to do it by AFL rules, change the list by 3. I think that it'd be fair to say that we'll assess the list again at the end of the year, and we will go into what we believe that will give us a greater impetus to be better again. Now, where we finish, I don't know. It's just too hard to tell because football is such an unpredictable animal. No one would have picked 9 the first round. I dare say you wouldn't have picked 9 the second round. So, but we're very optimistic that we will do well every game we play. And I think we have, but we've been beaten. So
Carlton players are all watching, Mick. We've just had some tweets come through. Good. Whenever you speak, they're here right now listening, as we all are. If it takes more time, Mick, and as you say, you're not a soothsayer, but if it's a 5-year job and you're desperate for success, do you feel like within you, if it takes 5 years, you're prepared to be the coach for the long term?
I saw that somewhere today. Now, I've got to ask, why would you be asking me that?
Because
I'm 60.
No, because whether the passion's there and the desire is still to sort of say, I'll see this through and I've got this burning desire now again.
I can't coach unless I'm highly passionate about the cause. And I make no excuses about that through the week nor at match day. There's a couple of things that you have to get right, though. Coaches don't choose how long they're going to be at a place, right? Committees do. If you have great support through that, then you've got to weigh it up and keep. And I don't know whether I'll ever climb the mountain. I've said this before. There's a mountain out there that I haven't climbed. I don't know, and that's not based on premierships. It's based on your satisfaction that you've done everything you possibly can. There's no doubt going to come a time when I'm going to say, I've had enough. Now, I don't know when that's going to be, but I'll tell you what, I'll be telling the club first, because I will never be a burden to a football club. I'll make that was because once you're a burden to the football club, you lose the players. I don't want to lose players.
Were you disappointed in Brock McLean's body language when he got subbed out on the weekend?
I haven't seen anyone throw a party by getting the red Guernsey.
No, I totally agree, but he wasn't great body language, and he stayed on the bench, didn't come out at
I spoke to him about that, and he had one reason, that he hadn't been subbed before, and he was, and I think this is fair because I didn't even know the rule, that because I don't talk, they're off. That once you put that on, I don't know if he laid it back on the ground, and he didn't ask anyone. That was his only. The only sin he made was not reaching across to Shane O'Sullivan and saying, Shane, do I go on the ground? We would have liked him as a leader on the ground. Yep. We've taken issue with it. I'm not going to hide it. And he come up with the reasoning, and we've got to accept that reasoning.
Have you punished him?
How do you punish him?
I'm not sure. Have you punished him, though?
No, I think by us being pretty disappointed in the outcome was enough disappointment.
Well, OK, what about Bryce Gibbs? I'm not talking so much about Bryce Gibbs' form, but I'm talking now about whether or not he's going to stay as a Carlton player. Yeah. Do you have that discussion with him?
I have had that discussion with him. Yeah. And
how'd it go?
I'm pretty optimistic, but I'm also a realist. I get bitterly disappointed on players going. Make no mistake about it.
Because I like every coach does it.
Yeah. Well, I just think that I've coached for a long time, and I could say players I've moved on. And I never say get rid of. I think that's just an inappropriate word. Moved on. Some have gone on and done very well for themselves in terms of a premiership or whatever the case may be, and good luck. Secondly, is losing Eddie Betts last year was the second time I've lost a player that I thought I really wanted him to stay, and he left. So I'd be bitterly disappointed if I can't. Is a reflection. So it's a reflection of us, all of us, in many respects. That's why I feel it. But really, it's a reflection of the system that I spoke to the league about. That the two-tiered system will come in. And I'd like to know why players want to leave.
The longer it goes, though, is it more the effect that it has on the player? Well, we've seen this in the past.
I've never seen any player that hasn't made a decision play good football.
Yeah.
And we spoke about Sydney before, Mick, and Buddy going up there, Tippett and these guys, and what it can create. You obviously brought Thomas over, and on not bad money. Gibbs is now deciding whether to stay or go, and I'm assuming it'll come down to money. Do you think that can disrupt the playing list?
I'm not 100% sure on the money. I don't really touch that, Doug. But I can understand that. They're not going to go across the tuppence, are they? So does it upset the list? I reckon if you don't play good football, it would upset the list. I reckon if you seem to let this affect you, and I reckon last year it was really getting hold of Eddie, and I think the players realised that it was getting hold of him, and they were backing him up. They were trying to get him to play good football because at the end of the day, he's still contracted at the end of the year. You want value for that year. I don't dismiss a player because he's says, "Oh look, I'm going to go at the end of the year." We wouldn't have half the rugby league going out there. They're all decided they're going to leave at some stage. But our game seems to be different. They seem to hold it in and bottle it in. Then they let you know at the end of the year, which is pretty obvious.
Hey Mick, just quickly, we're going to get to the NAB Rising Star, which very shortly. But what about the situation now where players, and Bryce has said this, I want Carlton to present to me as to why they should keep them. It's a new generation, isn't it? It was always, for me, the respect that if the club wanted you, well and good. Do you find that language disturbing, or are you okay with it?
No, it wasn't Bryce. Let's get that right. I think it was his manager, and I'm not over into that side of things. That's up to the administration. I don't know what we need to really present. Looking at it as an outsider in, I know you should say like should know, but we have. This particular year, given where we finished in the ladder, we've recruited 3 players from other clubs and we've seen 2 in action. Sam Doherty will be back soon, and we've recruited 3 young players, and our international player and also our rookies. So we've done pretty well, I reckon, with this year. If you want to look at a template of where the club's going, have a look at this year what it recruited and see where that's going to take us. I mean, Everett was fantastic on the weekend. Thomas wasn't far behind him, and as I say, I think we're getting better. And
Dylan Buckley was very good too. And has been rewarded
by
getting the Rising Star nomination for the week.
First one since 2010.
Yeah. Did he surprise you the way he performed on Thursday night?
No,
because he just gave you an enormous dash across.
Yeah, he did. No, he was too anxious the last practice match.
Yeah.
And we had what we believe the best match up for them. So he sort of missed out. But on reflection, I mean, he could have played his first game last week. Oh, he's played one game last year. But I'm not surprised the way he handles himself, because he's there early. He's out there at the end. He practices to get better, loves the club, loves his mates, and just listens intently. Yeah. And you just know that when people like that, you want to see them get rewards, and it's fantastic for our football club and him.
Yep, let's have a listen to Dylan Buckley, who was rewarded today with a round 2 NAB AFL Rising Star.
I was pretty wrapped. Just got the call up then. I was just on the track, and Shane just came up to me and informed me of the news. So yeah, I was pretty roped. Mick's been really good. He's given me a lot of opportunity and probably installed a lot of faith in me. So hopefully I can just repay that faith and then play some more senior footy.
Got plenty of tweets coming through, Mick, and a lot of them, believe it or not, a lot of them are from the media.
Wow.
This one is: do you sometimes regret your treatment of the media?
Never.
Never?
Not 1 ounce. Do they regret how they treat me from time to time?
Well, that's the...
Duck, you're not a media person either.
No.
You're too good to be in media. So are you.
No, we're all in the media.
No, you're not.
You were in the media for a couple of years too. You're forgetting that,
One year. Don't give me 2 years when I only had 1.
Okay, well, can I ask you a question about this? Because I've had a lot of people come up to me in the last 48 hours and they say they're worried about you, Mick. How emotional you're getting in the box at the moment. Are you worried about how emotional you're getting in the box at the moment? Or do you believe that that's best for you to actually just allow yourself to go like that?
See, you know how the league get all concerned about how many people on the ground? I get a little bit concerned at how many times they have to show the camera there. Why don't they do it? I think is Dean lately part of this one? Because Dean wore the bottle on the back of the shoulder there at one stage. You know what? If you don't coach with passion, you've got to coach the way you get the best out of yourself and your team. This is not about me. This is about the team.
Can we put a heart rate monitor on you 1 week soon?
You can do that anytime you like.
Okay.
I had one on the grand final in 1994, and it only tipped the top scale when one of our trainers ran through the middle and gave away 50 people. That's fact. That was as high as it got. Why would I be angry over that? Really?
Has anyone eaten a sandwich in your presence lately, Mick? We're all a bit nervous to...
No one. He knows he made a massive clue. I won't say where he come from, but it's pretty, no, I won't say where he come from.
Mick, you've always been great with your time and appreciate you joining us on Talking Footy. Good luck for the rest of the year.
Pleasure, thank you very much.
Coach of the Carlton Football Club, Mick Malthouse. After the break, we'll tell you why 2 stars should be embarrassed and has Daniel Wells run dry. You're watching Talking Footy.